Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of Legally Brum. Today we are interviewing a corporate partner from Shakespeare Martineau, Adam McGiveron. Welcome to Legally Brum, Adam.
Thank you very much. I'm very pleased to be here.
So Adam, can you tell our audience how you got into the legal profession?
Yeah, of course. I took a slightly unusual route into the law. I started off with a degree in chemistry, and then I worked in industry. I had a little entrepreneurial business for a few years, and then I worked for a bank. So by the time I actually came to law, I did the conversion course. I got quite a lot of years of doing other things in my experience before I came into the law.
What made you want to pursue law? Like what was it that made you
What was it that I saw in the law?
Yeah.
When I was in business, I was working with a lot of lawyers, so I knew what it would involve. I became a corporate lawyer myself, and I was dealing with corporate lawyers. I like the excitement of it. I like the sort of the challenge of it. I like the people that I was working with, and I just thought it was a career that would suit me.
Do you think working on the other side of the transaction, as well as the legal side, that helped you understand everything from a client's perspective?
It certainly helps. It certainly helps seeing the world from the client's perspective, and I think that's one of the most important things a lawyer can try and bring to the table, is to try and see the world from the client's side of the table. Having been on that side myself, it gave me a good start, but I think it's open to every lawyer to understand their client and to see what the client wants and what's not important to the client, what is important to the client, get an understanding of that and bring that to the table yourself. Now, I did it because I did other things first, but every lawyer's got the opportunity to see clients and to work with clients and to build up that experience themselves.
Do you think the idea of doing a secondment in-house is a good idea then?
It can be. It depends on the right person, the right secondment. I don't think secondment for the sake of a secondment is a good idea, but it can give people an experience into the client side of the world that can be very valuable and be very helpful in a long-term career.
What skills do you think non-law graduates bring to the legal professions that traditional law graduates say don't, in a way?
Well, I think importantly there's a role for both. And I think non-law graduates have had different experiences. I think the fundamental thing, the most important thing, is that people have got a rigorous academic degree, a rigorous academic education. I did science, but and science teaches you what you know and what you don't know, and that's very, very relevant to law. It's very transportable into the law. But equally, people who study law, it's an equally valid approach. I think there is a role for both law graduates and non-law graduates. But the key to it is the ability to work hard and understand a complex subject.
What do you think makes a candidate stand out at an assessment centre?
We're looking for team players.
Yeah.
So we're looking for somebody who has got a spark of personality, somebody we think we can get on with, crucially somebody we think we can take and bring to meetings and sit in front of clients. So we're looking for people who participate. We're not looking for people who necessarily try and dominate the room. I think that's a mistake some people make. They think I've got to go in there and be the biggest personality. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for people who are self-confident, self-aware, and are demonstrating the potential and demonstrating their ability to be a good lawyer.
Do you think it's easy to spot people that are pretending to be a certain way in comparison to their actual personality?
I think with experience, yes. I think you can spot people who are trying to project a different image. And I think these days the assessment centres are so detailed, you do pick that up. It is much, much better to go along to an interview, be yourself, be the professional side of yourself, because it's in everybody's interest that there's a personality fit between the candidate and the firm. If you get an offer on the basis of something that you're not or something that you're not comfortable with, it's not going to work out for best. So be yourself has got to be the tip.
So in terms of training contract interviews, what would you say the weirdest or most random question you've been asked as an interviewer?
I don't know. I mean, it is a very difficult question to answer. There's no real... A lot of people ask the same question. A lot of people ask the question about how you got into the law, and they have to listen to my long stories about how I got into the law. I had one interview many, many years ago. We ended up talking about our favourite bands. It clearly went well because he's now a partner in the firm. So...
Wow.
There are lots of experiences, but again, you don't really want to be... You want to see people in the best and cut people some slack and appreciate that people are going to be nervous. What's
a big no-no for you?
Don't say anything that's misleading.
Okay.
Be straight, be honest. Don't get caught on a spiral where you overstate something or over-egg a position or overplay your hand.
Yeah.
That gets spotted very early, and we're in a profession where trust and confidence are absolute priorities.
So can you tell us what commercial awareness means to you?
I think commercial awareness is one of the most fundamental skills that you pick up with experience. It is really about seeing the world from the client's perspective, coming at things, understanding what their motivations are, what the key points for the clients are, and disassociating that from what is just a legal problem. So understanding the client's perspective, that's the heart of commercial awareness.
And how do you feature applicants when you're a trainee and also a law student or even a non-law student?
Yeah.
How do you demonstrate that? How do you acquire that?
You acquire it through experience, and this is why when you're at the interview stage, it is really important to bring to the table your wider experiences. Don't think nobody's expecting 20 years of commercial experience from somebody straight out of university. But if you think about the core of what we're doing is looking after clients, what can you do to demonstrate that you understand those principles?
So I understand from Rupee that you're heavily involved in training recruitment at Shakespeare Martineau.
That's right.
And you even assessed Rupee when she...
I did, that's absolutely right. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Can you tell us what Shakespeare Martineau actually look for in potential recruits?
We're looking for very high quality individuals, people who have got the capability to go on through the firm, acquire new experiences, really grasp the challenge and work with us to go, ideally we're looking for people who are going to go all the way through the firm. We're very much focused on finding the partners of the future, the people who can go out and develop their own businesses. It's very, very difficult. I appreciate it's an incredibly challenging market for people looking for training contracts, and people need to persevere and they need to find the right firm, the right fit for them and the right fit for the firm.
Do you have any funny stories about...
Well, I had one trainee come to see me.
It's not me.
Rupee was her name. No, I mean it's an interesting thing. I've sat on the other side of the table myself, and although it was a long time ago, I still remember the experience. And I think it's absolutely crucial to give people the best opportunity and to get the best out of them. We're absolutely not into ramping up the pressure or creating artificial tensions. That's no good for the candidate, it's no good for us because we're not seeing people in their best light. So the secret to interviewing from our perspective, and certainly my perspective, is to keep it relaxed and try and see the real person. It's a very artificial situation, but you've got to get behind that and try and see the real person underneath it.
Is your training process then, you have you submit your application, you do your interview with HR, and then you get through to the assessment day?
I think the process, the recruitment process here is a long application, and that's deliberate because, like all firms, we want to make sure people are taking us as a firm seriously. So it's a long application. The successful candidates get invited to an assessment centre, and the successful candidates from the assessment centre come back a few days later to do one-on-one interviews or interviews with the individual and a couple of people from the firm.
Are internal and external candidates treated the same, or...?
Yes, we've got a very good track record of recruiting internal candidates. They go through the same process, they go through the same procedure, and they're faced with the same criteria.
You know what you said, it's a long application. Do you read every single one that you interview?
HR certainly do. It's part of the filtering process.
Yeah.
So I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but we get a lot of applications in. They all get read and they all get taken seriously. If we're going to ask people to spend a lot of time filling it in, we owe it to the individuals to spend a lot of time reading them. So at the HR phase, we've got a dedicated HR team for graduate recruitment.
Yeah.
They will go through all of the applications. They will draw up the short list of people who are invited to the assessment centre. Lawyers and HR are involved in the assessment centres, and then again lawyers and HR are involved in the interviews at the end. And then at the very end of the whole process, everybody who's been involved with it, we get together and we go through the complete review of everybody that's been through the assessment centre and interview, and we look at everything in its entirety. So if occasionally we get somebody will have had a nightmare on one of the sections, and because we all get together at the end of it, we're able to overlook that and just see it in context. People have things go wrong, and we're able to see through that.
I've always wanted to sit in the room when they're assessing.
Yeah.
I'm the apprentice and they go
all the pictures on the table.
No, you don't have pictures. It is literally just a spreadsheet, and we go down the names and we remember who everybody was and how they performed, and everybody says about their impression of the bit that they did, and then we form a consensus view.
So in terms of internal and external applicants, what I hear a lot of internal candidates do struggle to get training contracts, because obviously a firm can't give every single paralegal applying through that route a training contract. What advice would you give someone in an internal position struggling to get a training contract, and how they can kind of get that competitive edge compared to their external competitors?
I think people who are currently paralegaling, who are looking for training contracts, need to be straight with the people that they're working with, and tell the partners that they're working with, the fee earners that they're working with, that's what they want to do, and ask for guidance. It will depend on the kind of work you're doing at the moment. It will depend on the kind of firm that you're in at the moment. But if you're working hard for a business, they owe it to you to tell you what you need to do to further your career. And I think any of the partners in this firm would be willing to do that with the people here.
Can you tell us something that people don't necessarily know about Shakespeare Martineau?
I think we've just completed a big client engagement survey, and the upshot is that we are the best kept secret in the law at the moment. So we are working very hard to go out and tell more people about what we actually do. I think a lot of people don't understand the firm, and because we've got such a diverse range of work, we are going out and getting that message out to more people. We've got a new chief executive starting in February, which we're all looking forward to, and I think she will be very good for the firm, very good for the direction of the firm.
So other than Brexit, we know you love discussing that. What else do you think other factors they are affecting the Birmingham legal sector especially?
Well, the legal sector is changing massively, and I think the skills that people are looking for and are going to be looking for are going to change massively. And I think that one of the most fundamental changes is going to be around computer systems and artificial intelligence. So the old model of having a big room full of people who would be churning documents is probably coming to its natural end. And I think the skills that people are going to be looking for in the future are more the people who can negotiate, the people who can take a wider view, the people who can bring in work. And I think that's going to be the biggest change in the legal market, not only in Birmingham but across everywhere.
What would you advise students and junior people that haven't got the training contract just yet, how to equip themselves to...
Get as much experience as you can. I worked in a bank, and the bank gave me some experience, and the bank gave me contacts. Use your contacts. Find ways of getting contacts. Use your imagination. People appreciate somebody who's done something out of the ordinary to get their way in. I mean, don't be wacky. Don't be offbeat, but use whatever you've got at your resource. Find contacts. Make contacts. Find people in law firms. And you just got to dig in, and it'll happen. So my top 3 tips for finding a training contract are firstly bring to the table all of your experience. As we said earlier, I did chemistry, which gave me experience. I was in business, which gave me different experiences. But bring whatever experience, wider experience you can bring to the table. The second tip would be to really research properly the firms that you are talking to and make sure it's the right firm for you, and make sure that you're comfortable with what they are and what they're doing. And the third one, I'm afraid, is you just got to absolutely persevere. I appreciate the numbers are really difficult, but if you really persevere and really work for it, then you'll find the training contract.
Thank you, Adam, for being on our show and providing your tips to all the people watching at Legally Brum.
Well, thank you very much, and good luck to everybody.